Hi, welcome to Ask Ellen. Real questions, real talk, real change. I'm Ellen, I'm a personal coach, and I like to help people get through the bumps and the hiccups in their lives so they can move forward and have a happier life. Today we're going to talk about the saying, the early bird catches the worm. And I know we've said it a lot through our lives and we've definitely heard it plenty of times, but I want to kind of talk about it in a different way. How does it relate to you? How does it relate to how you're feeling, what you're doing, and maybe how has it related to something that maybe you did a little too early, only because you weren't ready? When we think of this saying, we usually think, wake up early, get there fast, move ahead, get faster than everybody else. And sure, that might be really good. And on some level, this is exactly what it's talking about. You do need to wake up early. You do need to be the first one to do a certain thing if you want a certain result. But what happens if you dive right in, but you're just not ready? Maybe you're not ready financially. Maybe you're not ready mentally. Maybe you're just not ready because you don't have the wardrobe or even the money to buy the clothes that you need for that particular job. There are all kinds of situations that maybe you might be diving in a little too soon because maybe you're just not ready. Let's talk about that a little bit because I want to see how you can get ready. Maybe you can get yourself prepared a little bit better. So when you do jump ahead fast, when you do tackle the situation early, you will catch the worm or the result that you're looking for. Let's get into it. Let's look into the difference between getting someplace early and actually being ready for being there. It's really important to understand where you're coming from and where you're going, how you are in your life, and what you want to have come out of it. What is it that you want to accomplish? But what happens if you're not prepared? If, say, you don't know what you're doing? Maybe there's a job opportunity that came up and you absolutely love it and you so want to do it, but you know you haven't done the experience yet. You haven't taken the class that you need to yet. Maybe there's just something that you don't know yet. But if you apply to this job, you may end up losing it completely. Or worse yet, you get the job, but now you're behind the barrel because you don't know what you're doing. Do you really want to put yourself in that position? Do you really want to fight against yourself with an opportunity that should have been something that would make you happy? So being ready is just as important as being early. If you get a great opportunity, maybe the next time, instead of just diving in, maybe you could talk to somebody about it. It could be that you take the time enough so that you can know that you are prepared and ready for that particular position. Maybe you talk to somebody from HR and let them know the situation. Let them know you're really interested in the position. Let them know that you're very close to knowing exactly what you need for that position. Maybe they can help guide you so that you can either get that position at a later time, or maybe they have a position that's open that's a level underneath so that you can learn what you need to learn, so that you can prepare yourself for that actual other position that you want. Sometimes you just need to get a little bit more prepared before you dive in. Sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves to be first, to be better than, to not fall behind, to start right now. Sometimes we feel like we got to keep up with somebody else, but in all honesty, you don't know what they're doing. You don't know what level they're on. You don't know how to get to where they are, but you have something in your head and you're focusing on that drive. But all that can add pressure to you. All that can be undue pressure that you don't need. Undue pressure that you've created that doesn't even exist. Rushing into something just so that you can be the first to do it can backfire in such a horrible way. It leaves you being vulnerable, especially if you're not prepared. So sometimes I feel instead of adding the pressure, you need to just take a step back and look at what it is that you want. Look at what you already know, look at the things you already have, and figure out strategically what you need to do to step forward. Now, once you know that, you can easily step forward and be early and do the right thing. But you need to make sure you've got your steps in place so that you can do this effectively for you. You're not comparing yourself, or I should say, you don't need to compare yourself to somebody else. You are your own person. You wake up with you and you go to sleep at night with you. You're the only person that needs to care about whether or not you're doing the thing that you want to do. Life can be stressful enough. You don't need to add more stress or more pressure to yourself because you think you have to. Nobody is telling you have to do anything. This is your life. And we need to just kind of figure out the right way for us so that we can move forward productively in the right way so that we can be proud of ourselves without all the pressure. This is where a lot of people kind of have that self-sabotage. They think if they're not early, if they're not the first one to do it, if they don't dive right in, if they don't tackle it head on, then they're late, or they didn't work hard enough, or they didn't try hard enough, or they didn't succeed in a way that they should. But sometimes waiting is just preparation. Taking a step back and looking at what you have and looking at what you need gets you focused in a way that just diving in leaves you vulnerable. Sometimes waiting is exactly what you need to do. Because with waiting, there's observation, there's learning, there's making sure that you've done all the things that you need to do. And that will make you more confident moving forward. That way, when you have the opportunity that comes up, you'll be successful. That way, when somebody asks you a question, you can answer it without going, what? I don't know. You don't want to put yourself in that kind of predicament. But here's the thing that I want you to remember. Sure, I'm going to say that waiting isn't a bad thing. However, if you've done the preparation, if you've done all the learning, and you've done all the observation that you can do, when you start waiting to find the perfect opportunity or the perfect happening, you might just be waiting for something that's not practical. You might just be waiting for something that's not going to happen. Where are you in this waiting stage? Are you ready to move forward? Are you as gifted and as learned as you need to be? Have you taken all the classes that you have to? If so, if you think you're that ready, then you should take that step forward. You don't need to wait. You can be the early bird and dive right in. But if you know there are some things that you just don't have yet, and you know that you can, the waiting is okay. It's up to you to decide, are you waiting or are you procrastinating? Are you stalling or have you stopped? Don't stop the energy, keep it going. But also be okay and kind with yourself if you're just not ready yet. I know myself, I love to dive into things. And a lot of times, honestly, I'll dive in whether or not I know I can do it or not. I work better that way because If I don't just dive right in, it won't happen. But I don't want to stress you out by diving into something that you're not ready for. It's okay that you can wait and be ready, because being ready is what you need so that you can focus, so that you can be strong in yourself, so that you can have confidence in yourself, so that you can succeed in the way that you want to. I remember years ago, a friend of mine got a job opportunity. Somebody came up to her and said, "Hey, you'd be great for this job." But she knew she wasn't ready. She knew she had to learn a few more things to be confident in herself to get the job. But she also knew that that job was one that she really wanted. She didn't want to delay. She didn't want to say no. She didn't want to pause and say, "I can't do this." So instead, she accepted the job offer. She dove in, and she was overwhelmed. She was anxious. She was upset. She wasn't happy at the job. She started actually being resentful of the job and also to herself. It was so weird because we talked about it before she even accepted the job. She knew she wasn't ready. She knew she still had a few classes to take. She knew that if she jumped in, she wouldn't succeed. But she didn't want that opportunity to go by and not accept it. This was the job she wanted. But she just wasn't ready. What she should have said was, "Thank you, but I'm not ready right now." Because then she could focus on getting ready. Then she could get herself prepared so that she could be perfect for that job. But she thought if she waited, that she would never get that opportunity again. So she accepted the job. She was really excited about it. This was, after all, a great opportunity. But she went in and she found herself overwhelmed. She found that she couldn't catch up and learn the stuff that she needed to learn as quickly as she needed to on the job. People started looking at her like she wasn't good enough. But the thing is, she was good enough. She just wasn't good enough at that particular job. She needed a little more time to be ready for that job. So instead of being excited every day that she went to work, she had so much anxiety. She was so upset, and she started resenting the job. She started resenting herself, and she ultimately ended up quitting. It was such a devastating time for her that it really took a lot out of her. It took a lot out of her self-esteem. It took a lot out of her value of a person. And it took a lot of talking with her after the fact, just kind of letting her know that she just dove into the wrong part of the pool. She wasn't ready to go there yet. She should have started at an easier job, one that she could handle so that she could learn to get to that other position. Oh, you don't have to worry about her now. She's doing great. She did end up getting another job that she was highly qualified for. She learned a ton of great new things, and she was able to get another job that was very similar to the one that broke her, and she excelled at it, and she still excels to this day. She just learned from that step that diving in, being early, isn't always the right thing. Sometimes you have to wait for opportunity and readiness to match up, and then you've got something great there. So here's the thing I want you to ask yourself. Are you ready? If you are, did you take all the classes you need to take? Did you finish the degree you wanted to finish? Did you do all those other jobs that built you up to where you are right now? If you're ready, then I want you to be that early bird. I want you to wake up early and jump on the new opportunities quicker and faster than anybody else. I want you to dive into those opportunities and reap the benefits. I want you to be the early bird and catch that worm. But if you're not ready, it's okay. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You just need a little more time. And that's okay. You need time to get ready. But don't use that time to just sit back and wait. That's not going to help anything. What is it that you're waiting for? What is it that you need to get yourself ready? Do you need to take another class? Do you need to do a little research? Do you maybe have to take a different job to prepare yourself for the job that you really want to do? Once you figure out the thing that you need to learn or do so that you can be ready, do it. Take that job or learn that thing. Take that class. Get yourself ready so that then you too can be the early bird and you can catch that worm. I know you can do it. It just needs maybe a little bit more direction in your own head. Figure out what's going to work for you. Figure out the pathway that you need to take. And then you can dive right in and do it. Did you ever dive into an opportunity that you weren't ready for? An opportunity because you just hadn't prepared well enough? Leave it in the comments. I'd love to know. Or the opposite. Did you hold back from an opportunity you were given because you knew you weren't ready yet? How did that make you feel? How does it make you feel now? Let me know. This is Ask Ellen. Real questions, real talk, real change. I'll see you in the next one.